Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, you already know that things are heating up in the NFC West, and the Seahawks are right in the middle of it. The buzz around the league is that the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that's been struggling this season, sitting at 2-5 and facing a possible rebuild, are exploring some bold moves, and one of the most talked about rumors involves a potential trade that could shake up the entire division. And believe it or not, the Seahawks are front and center in this conversation, with a real shot to benefit from this shakeup. So let's dive into the details because this could be one of the most impactful NFL trade stories of the year. The Cincinnati Bengals, as many of you know, have been underperforming this season. Their defense, which was supposed to be a strength coming into 2024, currently ranks 30th in DVOA, defense-adjusted value over average, meaning they've been painfully vulnerable, allowing 28 sacks so far, and their offensive line isn't providing much better protection for Joe Burrow. Now Burrow himself has been dealing with some injury setbacks, and his QBR, which sits at 84. 2 isn't quite the elite level we saw in previous seasons. The team's management is clearly aware that they need to make some changes, and one of the options they're considering involves trading away a key receiver, T. Higgins. Higgins, for those of you who follow closely, is a contested catch king. The guy's a true aerial titan, and he's been a reliable target for Burrow when healthy. Over his career, Higgins has amassed over 500 receiving yards and scored 32 touchdowns. He's a deep threat, averaging 2 yards per reception, and he was selected to the Pro Bowl in 2024. His recent stats this season are impressive: 38 catches for 512 yards and 4 touchdowns, with a top 3 ranking in contested catches at 64%. Even with a rib injury limiting him during Week 5, Higgins has shown he can deliver big plays with NFL.com noting that he has 14 receptions of 20 or more yards this year. That puts him right in the same league as players like Brandon Ayuk, who's been a lift for the 49ers with an extra 190 yards in the air this season. But the Bengals are clearly in a sell mode right now, especially with their cap space at around $12 million, which gives them some flexibility to make a deal. The thought is that Cincinnati might be willing to swap Higgins for a player like Laviska Shenault Jr., a versatile receiver who can stretch the field and add depth to the Seahawks' wide receiver core, along with a third-round pick in 2026, something that could be appealing for a team in rebuild mode, looking to accumulate draft capital and get younger. And this isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about strategic upgrades that could elevate the Seahawks' offense, especially in the passing game. Now, let's take a moment to analyze what this trade could mean for both teams, because it's pretty intriguing. Starting with the Bengals, they're sitting at 2-5 and the landscape looks tough. They're ceding too many sacks, and their trenches need serious reinforcements. Allowing 28 sacks so far this season highlights their issues up front. They're probably looking to bolster their defensive line with the pick they'd get from the Seahawks, and they're also trying to find ways to maximize Burrow's remaining prime years. Trading Higgins, who has a PFF grade of 88. 6 could help them free up cap space and acquire a solid draft pick, plus Shenault, who has a PFF grade of 77.8, can bring some versatility and explosiveness to their offense. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, this potential acquisition of Higgins could be transformative. Seattle's been a solid team at 5-2, but their wide receiver position has been somewhat limited recently. Tyler Lockett has been showing signs of decline, and JSN, the rookie, has been emerging as a top-tier receiver with a PFF grade of 87. 2, but the depth behind them has taken a hit with veteran departures. Adding Higgins would give Geno Smith a true deep threat, a guy who can elevate the passing attack significantly. It's not just about the big plays. Higgins' presence can elevate the entire offense's efficiency, especially in the red zone where his contested catches are a game changer. Statistically, Higgins would bump up Smith's EPA per pass from 0.18 to an estimated plus 0.32, which is a huge difference in terms of offensive efficiency. Plus, his ability to win in contested situations would open up more opportunities for Smith to throw with confidence, especially on third downs and in tight red zone scenarios. The Seahawks have been trending upward offensively, moving from a 12th-ranked attack to potentially a top-5 unit with this addition. And let's not forget, Higgins' presence on the field would help alleviate some of the pressure on DK Metcalf and JSN, giving Seattle a more diverse and dangerous passing attack. And there's another angle to consider: the current state of the Seahawks' secondary and offensive line. With some players dealing with injuries or limitations, Love being questionable and Witherspoon's knee issues, adding a player like Higgins could help mitigate some of those issues. He's a guy who can win in contested catches and make plays in traffic, which is invaluable when your secondary is slightly compromised. On the offensive line side, with Haynes on IR for a pectoral injury, the Seahawks can lean on play-action passes more effectively, knowing that Higgins can be a reliable target to stretch the field. Looking ahead, the odds of the Seahawks making a deep playoff run are already looking attractive, with Super Bowl odds moving from plus 1,200 to plus 900 lately. Higgins' experience as a playoff grinder, averaging 98 yards per game in the postseason, could be the final piece that pushes the Seahawks over the top. His ability to perform under pressure and in big moments aligns perfectly with Seattle's ambitions for a deep playoff push. It's a move that could revive the passing dynasty that many Seahawks fans have been craving, especially after a couple of seasons where the offense has been somewhat inconsistent. From the broader NFL perspective, this trade highlights the shifting landscape of the league, teams reevaluating their rosters, making bold moves in the hope of maximizing their window, and looking to build a team capable of competing at the highest level. The Seahawks, with their strong 2024 start, are positioning themselves as serious contenders, and acquiring Higgins could be the catalyst that takes them from a good team to a true Super Bowl favorite. It's about adding that extra spark, that proven playoff performer who can make critical catches when it matters most. In the end, it's a fascinating scenario that combines strategic roster management with the desire to win now. The Bengals, trying to rebuild and retool, might see this as a smart move to get something valuable in return for Higgins, especially if they can use Shenault and the pick to invest in their defense and trenches. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are looking to capitalize on their current momentum, boosting their offensive firepower with a player who can elevate their entire passing game. If this trade goes through, it could very well be a game-changer for both franchises, and more importantly, it could tilt the balance of power in the NFC West, potentially making Seattle even more formidable as they chase that elusive Super Bowl ring. So, my fellow Seahawks fans, keep your eyes glued to this story because it's developing fast, and the implications are huge. Whether or not it materializes, the fact that it's even being discussed shows just how ambitious this Seahawks team is this year. They're not just content with making the playoffs. They want to make a statement, and adding a player like Higgins could be the move that cements their place among the league's elite. We know that the NFC West is a tough division, but with this kind of move, the Seahawks are showing that they're ready to take the fight directly to their rivals. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Higgins will make the difference in the Seahawks' Super Bowl quest? Would Shenault and a third-round pick be enough to make this work for Cincinnati? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seahawks news. This is a story that's just beginning, and we'll be here every step of the way, bringing you all the insights and analysis you need to stay ahead of the game. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Hawks.